Why, hello there. How are you? It's Mike Tendo. I have a question for you. So, the other day, I'm hanging out, and I've been doing some research for more obscure games to try to explore, to do episodes on for the show, Dude, You Haven't Played This Game. And during my travels, internet travels, I discovered a game that I'm definitely interested in reviewing. And the game only saw import in Japan. Now, I've actually found a couple games that are like that I've been interested in picking up. Now, my rule is I don't review a game unless I physically own it. Or have it downloaded, or in some way, shape, or form. With the Mega Man X Street Fighter, obviously, there was no physical copy, but it was for free via Capcom, so that makes sense. But everything else that I've reviewed, if you notice, I own. So, I looked online for this game, and the game's pretty expensive. It's about a $200 game, $150, $200. Now, I really don't want to have to spend that much money to buy the game. I could technically make a reproduction card of it, or not me, but I could probably buy one from somebody. But I got to thinking, so I'm doing the searching on eBay, and I end up finding the game for only 20 bucks. So I'm like, holy crap, let me buy it. So before I buy it, I start looking it over, and it actually turns out that it's a pirated copy, pirated cartridge, and the seller, it looks like, I mean, everything's been posted in there saying that it'll work on NTSC United States systems, and that there's no problem with the game or whatever, but it is a bootleg. I mean, essentially. So I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, now, on one hand, I can buy a reproduction cartridge. On the other hand, I can just buy the pirated copy for 20 bucks. Now, a reproduction card's going to run me about $60, and it's going to basically essentially gut an actual cartridge that somebody may want, or somebody may want to own someday for an actual game that they want, and that's taking a piece of history and physically damaging it. Or a pirated cart, which may be a cartridge that's not coming from, or may actually come from, a cartridge very similar to the reproduction cart. It all depends. I mean, it's kind of a gamble. They could be creating their own cartridges. In the case of when that company, I can't remember the name of it, Retro something or other, they're a big company. They created the Battle Kid games. They sell them on their website. That company, they used to sell Mr. Gimmick for like, I don't know, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that. Now the thing's out of stock, and they're not planning on getting it back in, it looks like. And now reproduction carts for a game like Mr. Gimmick go for a pretty penny. And also you have to gut a copy of Batman Return of the Joker, this game, in order to get it to work, to reproduce the game. So, here's my question. And maybe you guys can talk to me about this and tell me what you think. What's the difference between a reproduction cart or a bootleg? I mean, what really is the difference? You've got a couple different options as far as what you can do, but either way, it's not a legitimate. It's not like picking up a piece of a game like this, for example. That, you know, this is an actual physical game. This had a retail release. This was physically released, and it's something that you can physically hold that did fit on shelves at one point. What's the difference between that and something like this? This is something that was completely reproduced from scratch. You've got a manual, you've got the actual game itself. I mean, look at this thing. You would not mistake this if you saw this on the shelf in a game store, and you would say, holy crap, a copy of California Raisins. This is a reproduction. Now, a bootleg is essentially the same thing. I mean, look at this. It's even got the little styrofoam on the insert on the inside. And look at this manual. I mean, you've got an actual manual that looks like a Nintendo manual from scratch. It's got all the little photos. I mean, obviously there's no yellowing of the actual book or anything like that. But in all honesty, this is brand new. And this is something that somebody created because this game had a ROM that should have been released to the public. The game was never released by the manufacturer, Capcom, and the game ended up getting released. So I'm curious what everybody thinks about this topic, because it's something that has been on my mind for quite some time now, and I've really been curious about what everybody thinks. Is there truly a difference between reproduction and bootlegging? Bootlegging and reproduction are both in it to make money. I mean, I personally know people who create reproduction cards, and I wouldn't think anything of them. They're creating something that a vast, majority of the market wants, and they're putting it out there for sale. So let's hear from you. What do you think? Do you think that reproduction cards are the same as bootlegs? Are bootlegs worse, and in what way? I want to know how you would assume that bootlegs are different than a reproduction card. Leave your comments below. If you have video comments, post them. Can we even do video comments anymore? I don't even know. But anyways, I want to hear from you guys and hear what you have to say. That's it for now, and stay tuned for more Dude You Haven't Played This Game and more from my channel on the way. And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. Anything you want to do, I definitely appreciate it. And I will see you on the flip side.